State of the Franchise, the podcast that discusses franchises of all shapes, sizes, colors, backgrounds, and types. I'm your host, Tom Stadler, here with my wonderful co-host, Fred Dakin. Fred, you deserve a break today.
I was waiting for that. I was like, what's he gonna hit me with? Like, he's just gonna be like, ba 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 ba.
That's the low-hanging fruit. You got to go outside the box. There's so many commercials. I was like, as I was doing research for this episode, I was thinking about all the ads that like have ever happened for McDonald's, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot to remember. And it's just, I don't know, their taglines have changed like more than any other brand that I can think of.
Yeah, it's got to go with the times. But as you just heard, we got a special topic today. We're talking about Mickey D's.
That's right. The biggest franchise in the world, if you remember back on our Taco Bell episode where we discussed most lucrative fast food brands.
The Clown Prince himself.
Yes. Mr. Ronald McDonald just wants to watch the world eat.
I was trying to think of a why so serious, but I couldn't think of why so
hungry. Here to talk with us this week about McDonald's is former McDonald's manager Paul Behlmer. Paul, welcome to the show.
It's an honor to be here.
Is it?
I don't know. I've never done this before. Is it?
I would like to think so.
It's huge.
Good.
The fact that you're questioning the honor is making me double think like everything right now. Does this show suck?
That's Oh, I've never done a podcast before.
No, the show doesn't suck. The show's great. We love it here. Yeah. So you used to work at McDonald's.
Yes.
I mean, big reason why we wanted to have you on this week.
Yes.
Obviously, a humongous brand all over the world, McDonald's. I mean, even to the point where they're shutting them down in Russia because they don't want money going in there right now.
That just got taken over.
Yeah.
They just rebranded it and like turned the M sideways or something like that.
The hamburger.
Yeah, that's what it would be in Russia.
Stands with Ukraine, man. Ronald stands with Ukraine. I couldn't think of any other of his friends. Who's the purple guy?
Grimace.
The
hamburger
stands with Ukraine.
There was that one bird.
Oh, yeah, whatever her name is, or its name. I don't even know. What was the name of the knockoff McDonald's in Coming to America? Was it McDougal's? Or McDuffles or something like that?
I think it was like a Duff was in there, I think.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Listeners, let us know at State of the Franchise
podcast.
gmail.com. At gmail.com.
Is that a real?
That is real.
Oh. It is real. We read actual emails. We're waiting for more.
Yeah, we want more.
Yeah.
Or else I'm going to have to send in like from fake people. Like, we really love the show. The whole family gets around and listens to it every Sunday.
Yeah.
Just random
Carl and Cudahy
people.
Oh yeah, like Marilyn Monroe is a big. Wow. Oh damn it! I should pick someone who's alive.
So tell us a little bit, Paul, about. I guess first, what was like your earliest experiences with McDonald's? Well, before you started working there, like when you were a kid, and then when did you actually start getting into like actually working for the man Ronald himself?
Well, I mean, just like any other Midwestern kid, I'm sure, I just started eating McDonald's at a young age. And you would always hear from, at least from my parents, how it was like always a privilege in their times, or like a more made up than it is now, because now it's just a fast food place. But at the time, it was like a treat to go to McDonald's.
Oh yeah,
when they were kids, particularly picky at the time, and McDonald's was always the one that was good. And,
yeah, when you're a kid, it's the high class food of all time.
It was, and for the longest time, I thought it was.
Right.
Boy, my palate is more refined now, but at the time, yeah.
Yeah, but you weren't eating avocado toast when you were 5 years old.
I didn't even know what an avocado was until I was like at least 20.
Like when I think of like early McDonald's years, I think of the time where you really would get McDonald's, at least for me, would be like if you got checked out of school for a doctor's appointment. And then there would be that asshole kid that would get to bring the McDonald's back at lunchtime.
Yes.
And he'd have it at the table.
Right, and obviously the Happy Meal toys, like the Beanie Baby ones were not a big
That was big
deal.
I remember when I would like get a Happy Meal, I would say, they'd be like, Fred, what do you want? And I'd be like, I want a toy with a Happy Meal. Like, that's how I would say it. Like, and I would make them say it because I was afraid they wouldn't put the toy in there.
No, well, at least in my time, you could just go buy the toys.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents probably knew that. They were just discouraging it. They didn't want to be there in the first place. They always seemed defeated when we were at McDonald's. Like,
Oh, yeah, there would be so many moms coming being like, I need to buy a toy, but it needs to be this toy.
Yeah.
He's like, sorry, ma'am, we don't have that. The only ones we have, because it would come in staggered amounts. You didn't get all the toys at once. You get these toys. And then a little while later, you get these toys.
Yeah. Do you guys remember the Beanie Babies at McDonald's?
Yeah.
That was insane. I have a specific memory of watching a mom walk into the store and go, I just want the Beanie Babies. And they're like, well, you can only get the Beanie Babies if you buy a Happy Meal. She goes, fine, give me 3 Happy Meals. She bought the food, took the Beanie Babies out, tossed all the food in the garbage right there and walked out. I was like, that woman.
I would have hated working at McDonald's at that time.
Yeah. I was like, you got to be kidding me. That is just a waste. Like, give that to the homeless or something.
At least you could, like, I'll pay for the full Happy Meal, but don't give me the food.
Right.
during the pandemic, they did like a 50th anniversary of Disney toys, and like there's nothing going on. So Ashley and I are like, we're gonna get really into this. So we were like, we'll just buy like a couple Happy Meals over the next span of weeks and kind of collect these figurines. I think we got like 3 and then gave up because like I just couldn't keep eating like these tiny burgers. But I did love going, especially with the advent of online ordering, which I will say McDonald's probably has the best online ordering app of all the fast food. I put it above Taco Bell.
Oh yeah.
Just you don't have as many options, but just for preciseness, it's great. But it was really great to get that cardboard box again though.
I've never ordered fast food online.
Really?
I've never gone for the no.
Oh, it's a
I
whole
feel like
new
that'd be
world.
too dangerous for me to have on my phone.
Oh, but you get the deals with the app. See, you came with McFlurry. You get like $1 off your McFlurry if you have the app.
That's true. I got $1 off my fries today.
Yeah.
I used to get my meals for free, so I mean, I guess.
So everything's balancing out now.
Yeah.
So yeah, when
I'm contributing now.
see, yeah, you're giving back
I'm
to
making up for all the free
person
food
that
I
paid you.
stole. No, yeah, free food I got legitimately.
I always feel good with the apps when I go to click on it and it re-downloads. Because I know that like it's been a while since I've been there, but when it comes up right away, I'm just like, "Ooh, I'm eating too much of this shit."
It's true. They can recognize when you want McDonald's, and it's so dangerous.
That's why I don't have the apps.
Yeah. So when did you actually start working there then, Paul?
It would have been like junior year of high school.
Okay. So like 16, 17?
05.
Yeah.
Yeah, 16 or 17.
Okay. And then how long did you work there for?
About 7 years.
Oh, wow. So like that was pretty much end of high school and all through college then, right?
Basically, yes.
Wow.
Until I got a real job.
At Burger King.
Oh,
I
man.
went from a clown boss to a king boss. So it was better.
It's upgrading,
Yeah, it's
really. The
upgrading.
gesture to the king is really what it is.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. So from there, you were a crew, and then you worked your way up to manager. Is that how it all went?
Yes.
Okay.
There were reviews, but it was more like, hey, here's how much money you're getting. Okay, bye.
So you got to work with a nice batch of young folks, I'm guessing, as a manager.
Young and old.
Young and
Yeah,
old.
you had your high school kids who would be in, work after school and work during the summer or breaks and whatnot. But you would have the older generation or the other people who would just be working there all the time.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a lot of lifers there while you were working there?
Yes.
Really?
Very surprisingly. I mean, especially in some management, especially, but like there's a surprising amount of lifers
Yeah.
who work in the store.
Like, what was the most tenured person there?
The most tenured people would generally be like, because I worked for a franchise, but would have been people who worked for the franchise from the start, which is probably like a 30-year-old, because they do the franchisee where people own. Sometimes Corporate McDonald's owns a store, but very more often a franchisee owns a store, and they have the rights to sell and do whatever from Corporate McDonald's. But like they own like 30 stores at the time, and I worked for that. But that franchise had been around for 30 years.
Okay.
25, 30 years. It's probably like 40 by now.
Holy cow. So,
There's probably still some lifers.
I like the idea that you've been gone for, what is it now? Like you said, 05. So probably like 10 years.
Yeah, 2011.
Probably going on the 50-year anniversary.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Especially like there's a lot of, especially at like the store manager level, there's a lot of like people have been around for a while and they bounce around stores.
Sure. Man.
It's just in my experience with the franchise I worked with.
Yeah.
Within that franchise.
That's crazy to think that some of those franchises are like that old now. That they are going to be. I mean, we'll get into it shortly here, but how long some of these stores are going to have been around for? At least a lot of them will probably be hitting 50 years. What about you, Fred? What's some of your history with McDonald's? I know you mentioned you were also a kid that went for a treat.
Yeah, I would go for treats, but like I said, it was definitely rare because it was definitely like a dirty thing in our house. But it would happen. It was kind of weird. It was definitely like, we're getting McDonald's, and that was like probably the only type of fast food I had. I think I mentioned on the Taco Bell podcast, I didn't have Taco Bell till like I was 12 or 13, I don't think.
Wow, that's wild.
I think of like the different phases I feel, and then high school you have your license, which I think we talked about too. So you're hitting fast food a lot more. And then in college, I feel that was like probably my most intense McDonald's time because it was definitely that late night, easy access drunk food. Like that's what it was for sure. I remember me and some people I won't name, we went to a hotel in Milwaukee because they had an indoor pool. Mm-hmm. And we dressed up in nice clothes and we had suitcases that we filled with beer. And we like walked in like we were like guests there on business. And we went into the pool and we hit all the stuff. We had our swimsuits and we swam. And when we left, we were like, we want to go to McDonald's. And I remember it was like they weren't going to let us do 2 orders in our car. Mm-hmm. So I got out and I did like a walk-up order. And then they yelled at me for that. And I was like, you won't serve me in the car. You're not going to let me in there. Mm-hmm. But eventually they did. And I think that was probably the time in my life I was eating the most McDonald's. Mostly like value menu. Like a lot of McChickens and a lot of McDoubles. And that's about it.
Oh, yeah. Man, that value menu was just like incredible. Because it was college, totally. Then all of that really hit like a peak. I feel like everyone's like, I can get a freaking like snack wrap for $1.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in, man.
I got it for free.
You keep mentioning this, and
we didn't bring you here to brag.
I got it all for free. Maximum value.
My God, listen to this guy. Yeah, I think that's definitely. It feels like a lot of the progressions is it goes from kind of being this. I don't know. I almost would equate it to like a Christmas Day on like a weekday, right? Where
I love it.
It's like you convince and you harp on your parents and you're like, come on, can we go to McDonald's? Can we do this? Like end of the week, like Friday night, that's your treat. You go and you get your toy and you have crazies who are looking for specific toys. But then, by the time you hit college, it's like that legit just, I need a 4th meal. Taco Bell is slammed right now. What else is there? And the McDonald's started doing the midnight curfew too in some towns. And
sometimes 24 hours.
Yeah, we had a 24-hour near us where we used to like hang out after high school. I just remember at like 3 a.m. my emaciated friends who like probably woke up at 4, started drinking, didn't eat anything, would like want me to drive them to McDonald's at 3 or 4 in the morning. Just like, Fred, just like, I could really use a McChicken right now. Just like they're dying. And I'm just like, bro. Because I was definitely like the mom, like all the time with a group of friends.
That tracks.
Like, well, you shouldn't have done that then,
Why'd you drink so much and not eat enough?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I had a nice balanced meal before we started drinking.
You have to have your carbs soak up all the alcohol in your stomach.
Yeah, I've been there at times where they switch the menu on you for like at 4 or 5 in the morning, and it's like we're only serving breakfast, which you don't want then, I don't think. Like, sometimes it could hit the spot, but no, you want like burgers and fries.
Was it them going out there and physically spinning the menu?
Yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah.
I need like a stick in my car to like spin it back.
All right.
Is this the only gatekeeping thing that's stopping me from breakfast or lunch? I'll spin it the fuck back.
It's literally like that scene in Big Daddy, right? Where he comes in like a minute too late or a half hour too late, right? And he's just losing it. Like, come on, you can't be kidding me.
There are hard deadlines. You have to change the temperatures of the grills and the fryers. It's not, you can't make the same stuff.
When breakfast is over?
At least in my time.
Well,
Now
yeah,
they
I was
started
going to
doing
say,
that, yeah.
breakfast is an all-day affair now.
It's only like certain. I haven't gotten breakfast, any of the all-day breakfast.
That would have been so clutch in college if we had
Yes.
Oh yeah, I would have liked that because like who was up early enough for that?
that. Well, I mean, so spoiler alert, Paul. I don't know why this is a spoiler. Paul and I went to college together, and we would get
What? How dare you?
bum bum bum.
I haven't watched it yet.
So we would get up for football game days on Saturday mornings, and game time was 11 o'clock. So that was pretty much right in that wheelhouse of like you have just enough time to sneak over to McDonald's before you start pre-gaming for the game. And I remember they had an actual walk-up window at the McDonald's closest to the football stadium.
Yeah, I remember that one too.
Yeah, so people would just be like walking up on the street, and you'd have like a line onto the sidewalk just to get a walk-up order from the drive-through window, and it was crazy. But that was when I probably ate the most McDonald's breakfast, is because we were actually up for it. And I'm like, well, shit, yeah, I'm going to get myself an Egg McMuffin. Why not?
You guys always stick to the sandwiches, or do you ever go for like the breakfast platter? Ashley gets the platter, and I don't get it, but I like seeing, like I appreciate the move, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That breakfast platter, that deluxe big breakfast, is the absolute worst thing for you on the menu.
Really?
I can believe it.
What's all in the platter?
That's like all the calorie intake you need for a day.
Really? I guess pancakes in general are like sneaky bad.
Yeah.
And the sausage is like calories.
For sure.
Yeah.
So wait, it's pancakes, it's sausage,
Eggs.
and eggs.
And bacon, right? Isn't there like a little sausage, a little bacon?
There's a little bacon. Sausage. Sausage. Wait, was there sausage? Okay, maybe I missed.
Probably not bacon now. They got rid of the bacon.
Yeah.
They got
most
rid of the
likely.
bacon? I mean, it wasn't great bacon.
They got, that was the one thing. We have all had menu items that have been lost to us, but Ashley will still harp on the bacon egg bagel. Was one of
yes.
her favorite items.
I did like that for a long time.
I liked the steak. It was definitely not steak,
It's not,
but I liked it.
I'm sure
Yes.
it's beef.
Yeah, it was definitely beef.
It's not like, it's like weird because it's like almost like picture like plywood but steak.
It's like soft jerky, kind of.
It was like soft jerky, because I remember getting that one time when I was younger, probably about 10 years old, and I remember just having the hell of a time biting through it. Like it was literally like tearing out
It
a
was
little
soft.
bit.
Maybe you're getting the wrong one.
Maybe
I always looked at it like it's like basically they took the steak bits but built it. They took steak bits but put it together like wood gets put into plywood.
Huh. Mine was pretty tough. I just remember that.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Well, it fell apart pretty easy fresh off the grill. I can tell you that much.
Well, maybe with your expertise, they were nice and soft.
I was a very good cook. Yeah,
Paul ran a
5-star
tight ship
chef.
Because we know
Michelin-star rated.
we know that fast food, that the food comes out equal quality every time.
Oh yeah. And
And it always looks like the TV commercials.
Exactly. Well, I think this is a great transition, though, to talk about how the menu items did change over the years by even talking about how McDonald's got started. So in our history segment here, McDonald's goes all the way back to 1937 when the McDonald brothers started a hot dog stand out in, well, the original branch was in San Bernardino, California, but they wanted to do a hot dog stand at first. That didn't really get a lot of traction, so then they opened their official first stand as a barbecue restaurant in San Bernardino, where they were selling barbecue rib sandwiches. So if y'all think about the McRib, it had origins in the very first McDonald's.
It comes back around.
It did. But it wasn't until 1948 that they decided to switch that stand into a hamburger and milkshake restaurant. So that's kind of when they invented that whole service model that you see, where it's like the fast food model, kind of like the Ford, what is that? The
Assembly line.
Yeah, assembly line. Thank you. And if you have seen the movie The Founder, you would know what that process looks like. It was like a round restaurant where they had people kind of assembling all the pieces one by one. It's very cool to watch now, but feel very bad for the McDonald brothers because it was Maurice and Richard. So none of them were named Ronald, even though we know the clown prince of hamburgers now.
I thought he was a jester.
Well, he's all things, isn't he?
He's something.
Is a clown a jester? Or is a jester a clown?
I think it's like a rectangle square type situation. Like
I feel like
a clown is a jester, but a jester isn't necessarily a clown.
I feel like there was jesters before clowns, but now being a jester today probably goes under the umbrella of clown.
Right.
Because there's many facets to the clown.
Is a mime in the clown type entertainer family?
I don't know. Describe it without words.
I mean, it's got the white face paint.
See, that's where I always got messed up with Ronald. I'm like, what is he? Back to our history, though. So it was 1954 that Ray Kroc, who was a traveling appliance salesman, visited Maurice and Richard at their restaurant. He was a appliance salesman for kitchens, and he was like, whoa, this is a cool looking stand you guys got going on here. So he bought the rights to franchise McDonald's, even though they did have restaurants franchised at that time. The year prior, they had opened a couple other spots in California and Arizona. But Ray Kroc was the first one to be like, I'm going to take this nationwide. And for those who know their McDonald's history, the first franchised restaurant, the ones that we know today, was opened in Des Plaines, Illinois. Is it Des Plaines? Am I saying that right?
I want to say it's Des Plaines.
Des Plaines? No.
I think it's right. I think people call it Des Plaines.
I thought you were doing a Herbie Velichak impression.
Who's Herbie Velichak?
Des Plaines.
Oh, sure. I know him as like Tattoo from
James Bond.
Yeah. Is his name Tattoo in James Bond? Or
is in that one? What is it?
The Fantasy Island.
Fantasy Island. Yeah.
Why do we know that? We're like 30.
Yeah, I just made a Fantasy Island joke. I've never seen a second of it.
That's the only thing I know about Fantasy Island.
I love that we all like,
it's a plane.
That's a weird thing for people to be like, yeah, I know that. It's like this show is well before our time.
I guess you guys weren't ready for that, but your grandparents are going to love it.
Oh, gosh. I feel like Back to the Future. I messed up on trying to do a Back to the Future reference every week. I think I made it 3 episodes, and now we're bringing it back.
I got you.
Thanks, Fred. You're a good friend. So it was then in 1959 that Kroc found a new CEO for his McDonald's company, a man by the name of Harry Sonnenborn, who helped to develop a financial model in which McDonald's would own the land on which the franchisees would build their restaurants. So it was a pretty unique way to actually like spread out, because instead of buying the buildings, they were buying that land, so they'd always kind of open that and they could remodel at will. So that then continued onward, and they kept expanding, and it was in 1961 that Ray Kroc bought out the McDonald brothers for $2.6 million, which today is roughly, well, I guess put in inflation, probably somewhere short of $25 million. Oof. So imagine selling the world's like most lucrative restaurant brand for $25 million.
What does that break down to into smiles?
Not enough to make you feel good about what was going on. I mean, look, you can retire on $2 million in 1961. I mean, you'll be doing very well at that point, but your children and your children's children would be sitting pretty like Ray Kroc's are right now.
I think there was like some kind of handshake deal on like 1% royalties that he didn't actually commit to?
Yeah, it was something like that, where like it's like a common thing that you see in Hollywood, where like the actor is offered a percentage of the gross rather than like a set like salary. Mm-hmm. And you have somebody who cashes in on that. Like, I think it was Alec Guinness.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I think Alec Guinness did it on Star Wars.
Yep, he did that. And I think Jack Nicholson might have done that on Batman, too.
He did. He got, like, I think $1 million up front still, but he did get a piece of the back end, and he made lots of money off of Batman.
I mean, yeah, like, that's the type of moves that keep you set for life.
It's that Bobby Bonilla deal.
Bobby Bonilla Day. I think it still goes to 2040. So the McDonald's first developed then its Golden Arches in 1962. That's when we got into the McDonald's that we know and love, and really the rest is kind of like as you would expect from there. I mean, it just kept growing and growing and growing. all the way up until now, and they went worldwide at the end of the 80s, early 90s. So then it was really when the Cold War ended in 1989 that they opened in Russia.
For the time being.
Yes, and then in 2022, McDonald's rescinded that that lovely offer 30 years later.
They sent the Hamburglar in to ransack the place.
Now they have Whack Arnold's or whatever. McDuffie's, whatever we want to call it. But yeah, by the end of the 1990s, in the year 2000, McDonald's had 11,000 restaurants outside the U.S.
Oof.
Yeah. So within the U.S., it was something like 20,000 in the 90s. So they were pretty big, and not a lot ended there. So that's where we kind of get into our highlights section here. So I guess my question for you guys, what's some of the things that you feel like McDonald's is most notorious for? We talked a little bit about breakfast already, right? And that's a big thing. We can obviously always come back to breakfast. I love breakfast.
When you say notorious, I almost think you mean bad.
Not necessarily. I would think like
the song Notorious.
Yeah.
No.
Or like Notorious B.I.G.
Exactly.
That's good.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess what are some of your favorite things about McDonald's? Like, what are some of the things that you think of when you think of McDonald's? Like, what keeps you going back? That's maybe my better question for you.
It's definitely it's hard to pick a specific item now just because it's really not my bag as much anymore. But I do feel I will go back to McDonald's because I think it is probably the most nostalgic food you can eat.
Yeah.
It's hard to find anything more nostalgic than that.
Sure. Because, I mean, you do establish it as a kid, right? And, I mentioned you guys before we started, I'm watching McMillions, and I loved the Monopoly game when I was a kid. I actually won one time.
The $1 million?
Not the million. No, I wouldn't be here if well, maybe I would. I don't know.
That's how we built the studio.
Yeah.
Wow.
People don't know what this dude looks like, but it is.
I do.
It's lovely.
It's amazing.
Pictures of Chris Middleton and Packer flags that fell down that I haven't pinned back up. Man, it's great. But I did win the Monopoly contest with Baltic Avenue and Mediterranean.
Isn't that the most basic one?
Yeah, it's like $5. But you know what? Even still, for a 12-year-old, that is good stuff, man. Go in there, you hand in your pieces, and they're like, here is $5 for you.
Ooh, yeah, that was good stuff.
Wow. Yeah. Go and buy yourself
If I
another
never
McDonald's
had somebody
meal.
turn in Monopoly pieces for money. I don't know. Did you do that at the store?
Yeah. I think that might have been one of the rare instances where you could do that because it was a nominal cash prize like that, like a very small nominal cash prize. But I still, we talked about it going into college. Like when the Monopoly came back, I was all about it. I'm like, I want to go every week. I want to make sure I get like breakfast or whatever items they're getting. I'm going to get those Monopoly pieces. I'm going to win this time.
You might have been too close of a connection to me.
Paul, do you want to give away your secret?
No. Sure. Maybe. Fine.
Fred is dying over here. He needs to know.
I'm dying.
Whenever something hits the floor, something that food's supposed to go in, you have to throw it out. You can't give it to customers.
Sure.
I accidentally dropped a whole stack of hash brown wrappers on the floor. So it's like, well, what are we going to do with these now? I grab them all and give them to some of my friends who can't be connected to me.
Sure.
I thought you were worried about this story. To me, it sounds like you were a hero.
But nobody won anything.
What if someone got
French fries?
But what if someone got contaminated hash browns because you didn't do diligence?
Would they not have bought the hash browns anyways?
Well, I'm just saying, you picked them up and made sure that they wouldn't go into the hands of people after they touched the floor.
So I deserve to win. Is what you're saying.
You're a hero.
Look, all I know is Paul made a great effort to remove those from the store, keep it, nice and tidy, not contaminate its customers. Probably made a very good effort into disposing of those wrappers. They just so happened to become fair game into the public play because they didn't make it into the trash can right there. It's an accident. There's multiple accidents happening in this story. I just so happened to grab maybe about 50 to 100 of those and took all the tabs off. I did not.
It's weird how that happens.
Win a damn thing. If that gives you any idea of how
I think we
rare.
got a lot of small fries.
Yeah. Lot of like free hamburgers, free small
Maybe like
fries.
McFlurries or ice cream cones or something.
You can only eat so many McFlurries though.
That's true.
Yeah. I had
Right.
I had a milkshake and a hamburger, a Big Mac on Saturday. I was very surprised how small the Big Mac was.
Yeah, no, I got one too. Like got my first Big Mac since I don't even think I ate a Big Mac while I worked there. I used to like Big Macs as a kid, but I got my first Big Mac in years. Yesterday, I'm like, these buns are smaller. I swear.
Yeah.
Like they're thinner. They're the same circumference, but thinner.
Are the burger patties smaller too?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think they're well, at least in my time they were a tenth. Like there's a quarter pounder, but the smaller ones that go in the burgers and the Big Macs, they were a tenth of a pound
Yeah.
before you cook them. So they were like basically nothing by the time you cooked them. But
Man.
they are very minuscule patties.
Seems like it.
Well, that's why I discovered on the app
Oh,
you can add a patty
yeah, that's
and you can take away salt because it really doesn't need it. Apparently, they're hitting the bad boys with salt.
Oh yeah. After they're done cooking, we just
Right.
Shit, like I had,
So if you're watching your sodium,
Yeah.
it's nice. You can
Yeah,
take
yeah.
that salt out.
like I
didn't know that.
I ate a McDouble today because I got I hit McDonald's for like 3 meals in the past 2 days to prepare for this, and I ate the McDouble. I'm like, wow, this just tastes like salt.
Yeah, you take away that salt, you taste
Yeah.
a little bit more of that meat, and you add that
all
extra
that
patty.
meat. Yeah,
So when they add an extra
like
patty,
it's like a McTriple.
McTriple, baby, or Big Mac, Triple Mac.
Triple Mac. Okay.
Well, for my McDouble, but the Big Mac. Yeah.
So when you add that extra patty, do they actually put another bun on there, or they just double stack of patties?
They just stick another patty in there somewhere.
Oh, okay.
the buns only come as the set of the 3. You can't. You'd have to take another middle piece and dispose of the remaining top and bottom. Because it's not the same size as the quarter pound. At least in my time, it wasn't the same size as the quarter pounder bun, which was sesame seed also.
That's kind of the bigger, more like, I don't know if it's the better sandwich, but it's like the more hamburgery sandwich, the quarter pounder, I feel.
Yeah,
Yes.
because it's like 2.5 times 2. No, I'm doing the math wrong. It's quarter pound versus a tenth of a pound. So
Right.
a little more than twice as much meat.
Yeah.
See, I used to be a quarter pounder guy. When I was younger, that was my meal. I would go to a football practice. I'd come on the way home with McDonald's, and I'd come home with quarter pounder. And occasionally, if I was feeling real sauce, especially when I was like 15, 16, lifting a lot of weights,
Oh, double.
2 quarter pounders.
Oh, I would always go double quarter pounder because I tell myself I'm not getting the extra bread. I'm just
Yeah.
getting the extra protein. But yeah, I would always get the double quarter. I used to get like a double quarter pounder with cheese and a McChicken, no lettuce. That was just the 2 sandwiches, no fries, no
I
drink,
was a McChicken no mayo guy.
no mayo.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I'll tell you this, nowadays, I would get no mayo because they got some whack mayo on there these days.
Yeah, the mayo's not. Yeah.
It's changed.
Man, yeah, we could have.
Because we know when you get a fast food item and they've
changed some, yeah.
messed with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could tell, like, within the past 4 or 5 years, the McChicken made a change, and it's not the item that I grew to love.
Yeah, I've had McChickens in the past. Well, I would always get the mayo off of it, but like the base McChicken still tastes the same.
Well, it's very interesting, right? Because didn't they have a whole thing where they did need to change some of their menu items because they were getting called out because of the pink slime or whatever? Or is that all still in play?
I don't know if that was McDonald's.
Okay. I know they were getting a hard
That was
time.
with the nuggets, I thought, right?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't remember.
What is the pink slime?
I swear that was from something else.
Are you guys nugget people? You
Yeah.
like the nuggets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fine with the nuggets.
They're not like the best nuggets I've ever eaten,
But some people, that's like their menu item at McDonald's
Right.
is getting some nuggets.
I mean, the key thing to me is the sauce you get with it.
Oh yeah, good
Yeah.
sauces at McDonald's, I'd say, other than their ranch, maybe.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I ever tried the ranch, but
I never did either.
grew up with the sweet and sour,
Obviously, the sweet and sour is classic barbecue.
barbecue.
They used to have a ranch club chicken sandwich, and I don't think this was like a different ranch.
Yeah.
That sandwich was a go-to for me
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
while.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
like like kind of a sharper cheese with a little bit of that buttermilk ranch on a chicken sandwich. But that was back when they still had the crispy chicken deluxe.
Was that when they had those nice honey wheat buns? I think that was during my time. Yeah, because you had your ranch packets, ranch cups, pre-contained. They came in. You just open the plastic up on top, but on those sandwiches, it would be just a big, whatever you call it, a ranch, and just squeeze it all over.
That makes sense for when you said you worked there, because that was kind of like, originally for me was the crispy chicken deluxe was like the OG chicken sandwich, and then
I think they first had
a couple after that, but that like that ranch one, and now they have new chicken sandwiches that I am not a fan of.
Yeah, I had one today because I wanted to varietize the meals I had before this. And
Sure.
The bread was nothing compared to the honey wheat bun from that night, that's for sure. And the chicken was fine.
Yeah, it's very fine.
Yes.
But one thing that hasn't changed is the French fries.
Oh,
Yes.
And
at least in our time.
okay,
Okay.
what does that mean?
Guys, the people in the restaurant used to tell me the fries were so much better when they just fried them in lard.
But that's because food in like the 50s and 60s was like in so much more fat and cigarette smoke. It just tasted better.
That's why
They were just dumping whiskey on it.
But in our lifetime, it was been the same fries for sure.
Yeah, but those fries, who do you put up against them?
I mean, I like different varieties of fry, maybe more. Me, I like a good breaded French fry.
Okay.
But like if just a base French fry, yeah, they're pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I think back in the day, I was big into Burger King's fries.
I do remember.
'Cause they were almost like sharp or zesty to them.
Yeah.
And I missed that. And then Wendy's, like they all like kind of, except McDonald's is the most constant, but the other places, like Wendy's, Burger King, they'll just go through these phases where they're like, we're changing it. And most of the time it's not great.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while I'm like, oh, they got it. And then they'll change it again.
Yeah.
But McDonald's, for the most part, in my lifetime, has stayed very consistent and delicious.
Right. If there's one, at least on their staple menu items, they stay mostly consistent. Yes, I think it seems that way for sure.
Yeah.
Around the fringes, they play around with a lot of stuff, but
They did. Because didn't they try to introduce curly fries at one point?
not my time.
I don't know that.
But
I believe it.
I mean, I do like a good curly fry, especially if you go to Hardee's. And man, when I see Hardee's, that's like that's a treat for me because I never see Hardee's anywhere anymore. I had one near me when we were growing up. Or Carl's. That's Carl's.
We have like a Hardee's like 5 minutes away from here.
Well, now we do, but
Now it's at a time when it's like, I shouldn't eat Hardee's.
yeah. But occasionally that Hardee's hits the spot. Going on a road trip, as I did recently, stopped through some Hardee's, and that was.
I will say we won't disclose the location, but I don't like that Hardee's anyway.
Well, there's something about that area in specific that is not very desirable overall. But again, we'll leave names out of podcasts.
Yeah, we'll leave that for our strip mall episode.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a franchise?
Yeah.
Anything's a franchise.
Anything's a franchise.
Apparently, yeah. I've listened to this podcast.
But it is interesting that McDonald's has done a lot of different menu items over the years. And one thing I definitely did not want to skimp on is the fact that their international menu, as we mentioned, in the 2000s, they really branched out worldwide. I remember even on like the Travel Channel, they would have like, at the Italian McDonald's, like you mentioned, Paul, like they have what? Like
They had gelato. I don't remember anything but the gelato.
But still, like that's something that you don't get at American McDonald's every day. But, they had this worldwide menu. So something that I also had experience with McDonald's is up until 2 years ago, I was working for a company that did branded merchandise for McDonald's. So they would ship it to all the different franchises and give them like polos and like swag and stuff that they could give out to customers or whatever. And so as Paul and Fred can see on the podcast, and I'll probably take a photo of it, and for the promotional thing is I have a McDonald's hat that they would give to the franchises that they could wear as for their employees. And one thing they did have that was big when I was there was the worldwide menu. And they did all this stuff. They had like stickers, they had T-shirts, they had hats, they had buttons, and all these different things to promote the worldwide menu. And all this stuff sounded good. Like they had like a Canadian poutine. And I was thinking about this when we were talking about the French fries. I was like, they did have poutine. having McDonald's gravy.
Oh, I probably could have made our own poutine somehow. Sans gravy.
Well, in Wisconsin, too, we have the cheese curds for this, right? Or the cheese.
Now, you're talking about like international like menu items that they did like an international menu rollout here, or just in other countries?
So they did an international rollout here.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a tribute to the international branches. Because I think because of that whole exposure that people had watching this on like Travel Channel, where it's like, yeah, you go to Greece and they have like gyros. You go to Japan and they have like fried rice. Mm-hmm. So they released like a few limited time items, kind of like the McRib or. Yes. And I've never had a McRib, and I feel like that's something I need to do one day. They're hard to find.
McRibs are weird.
A little weird.
Yeah.
What's the story with the McRib?
I don't know, it's just weird.
It's just because it is like everything in McDonald's. I watched someone make a McRib copycat, and he kind of was like, he talks on the work there, and it is like pulled pork reassembled in this rib shape and pressed and like frozen and then made. And I think they're perfectly fine, delicious. They're very sweet. The barbecue sauce is like very sweet. Yeah. But it's just kind of weird because they make like the shape of the bones in the meat.
Yeah, it's basically just a weird like wavy pattern of coagulated.
Are we talking sweet like the Szechuan sauce? Like
no, it's just like picture like barbecue sauce, but they added like a few more tablespoons of sugar to it.
Yeah, something like that. It was a specific sauce. It would come in these big jugs, and you'd pour it in the trays that you would put in the heating area. They call it the UHC trays, where the food stays warm for a designated amount of time before you're supposed to throw it out. And it would just be soaking in this sauce for like 30 minutes.
Holy cow. So it was literally like you're doing barbecue in the back.
At the most.
I'll tell you this, Tom.
You were cooking it, and you were putting some hot, and you were just dipping it in hot barbecue sauce.
I'll tell you this, it ain't no Pappies.
We're going to do the Pappies episode another day.
If we can do like a road trip episode.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Fred and Tom hit the road. That'd be great. We'll talk Pappy's barbecue the other day. Oh, that's right. Best barbecue in the U.S. or best ribs.
If y'all can hear the fireworks.
Well, yeah.
We swear those are fireworks.
If you hear small explosions, that is what's going on in the background. We'll see how this goes.
I think it's just the opening of a new McDonald's up the block.
I think they're just launching them at the undisclosed park that's nearby.
Well, ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it.
Do you guys know who's doing the ba-ba-ba-ba-ba now?
Who's that?
It's podcast favorite, star of Succession, Brian Cox.
Oh, that's right.
Ba, 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 ba.
Is that true?
It is.
Oh, yeah. Huh. If you listen to his voice on the commercials, you recognize him right away.
I don't think anyone should be doing voiceover for McDonald's who pronounces it McDonald's. Like,
McDonald's.
I remember your Takeo joke, and that makes me laugh.
Fred does a killer Brian Cox. Fred, read us some copy as Brian Cox from McDonald's.
Oh, you want a McChicken, but you want the old mayo. Why don't you fuck off back to 1980?
Now you gotta do the lackadaisical ba-da-ba-ba-ba. It's almost like they like forced him at just like, come on, Brian, we need one more line. We need one more. Oh, I'm not saying it. Fine. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Yeah, the Emmys are coming around, or they just got announced. I know Succession got a lot of awards, but no love for his McDonald's commercial.
It's a snub. It's a big snub. It's interesting how much McDonald's does show up, though, in pop culture, because I feel like as much as it is a nostalgia factor we were talking about, too, but all the things that it is in, like we talked about Big Daddy before, right? That it's like the breakfast menu, like switches over, right? So we see that whole scene in there where he's like, what? I thought it was till, 11 o'clock. It's like, no, it's 10:30. But, I mentioned before, too, the Szechuan sauce. Rick and Morty, like, pretty much brought back a menu item on, like, fan, like, campaigning alone. Yeah, like I gotta get that Mulan sauce, whatever it is.
I was able to track down some when they brought it back at the airport. No one could find it. I remember talking to people, and then I flew somewhere, and there was just like a airport McDonald's, and I was like, "Do you have any of that Szechuan sauce?" And they were like, "Sure. How many do you want?"
I need that Mulan
It was
sauce.
like, yeah, that was like originally just a promotional item when the animated Milan movie came out, as I recall.
I got some at the McDonald's down in Bayview here. And I still got a secret stash in my cabinet of that sauce. Let me see if I can grab it.
Yeah, we want to take a look at it.
Chicken nuggets for
Yeah,
you gonna do taste test?
We better be doing like cocaine finger, like of this thing, like just sticking a pinky in and rubbing it in our gums. I'm getting Chinese food Thursday night. I'm excited. We're going swimming, and then we're gonna go home and eat Chinese food. I don't know if there's a better combo than that.
How old is that Szechuan sauce? It's in your
So
hand right
this
there.
Szechuan sauce probably, so I've lived here for about 5 years. So it probably was, 3 or 4 years ago that I would have gotten it. So I'll pass it around. But you can see they got the whole new wrapper on that. I'm just holding on to that just in case another campaign comes along where everybody's looking for that sauce, and I can just throw that on eBay for like $500,000.
Getting to the point where it starts to shrink in on itself with that vacuum packaging. I don't know if that's a good sign.
Yeah. Well, it's not for me to eat at this point. It's just a novelty thing.
It's gonna be worth some money someday.
Save it for the next coronavirus, and you need food. And you can just you're down to just your Szechuan sauce.
Probably got a lot of calories in
I'm
it.
gonna be trolling the Rick and Morty Reddit with that thing. Just being like, who wants this Szechuan sauce?
I don't need to see it. I lived it.
So good. I don't know why I have so much McDonald's memorabilia, but I think that is kind of something too. It's like, why do we keep this stuff? Like the toys. I don't remember what even happened to half the toys I had. But
Oh, that's a good point. I had so many of the toys.
yeah, wasn't there also like a thing like in Richie Rich, right, where he has like his own McDonald's inside his house? Like,
That's because it's like the most classy food you
Sounds
can
familiar.
get.
It's been a while since I've seen that movie, but it sounds familiar.
but I just feel like there were so many times when like there was like cross promotion stuff where you'd have McDonald's in the movie and then they would also be sponsoring the toys at the same time.
Like Mac and Me.
Is that in Mac and Me?
Mac and Me, there's a whole scene where they go to a birthday party at a McDonald's.
Really?
And Ronald's there, and it's just like an advertisement for McDonald's in the beginning, in the middle of the movie.
Is that why it's called Mac and Me? Because of that?
It is. I'm pretty sure.
Come on.
I'm not even kidding.
That's not true.
Yeah, that's like one of the best things. Mac and Me is I love. Is it Paul Rudd always brings it on like Conan?
Yeah.
Like he brings that one clip.
Oh, yeah,
and he
yeah.
pretends he's like, oh, this is the clip from my new movie, and he plays the clip from Mac and Me.
It's so good. I love that like so much, and it never fails. Even when it's like his last time on that show, he was like, "Yep." He's like, "I'm going to show a real clip this time," and wonderful.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, did they do the cool frosty glass Batman glasses? Was that McDonald's?
Yes, that was.
Ooh, yeah.
I think my parents still have some of one of those at least.
Yeah, because Batman. So I think I'm mixing this up because I have it in my head that he gets drive-through at McDonald's, but I think he says
He
I'll
just
get
says,
drive-through. But then there's a commercial that was on at that time where you have Val Kilmer's like Batman going through McDonald's and like grabbing it from the Batmobile.
I'm sure Val Kilmer loved that.
I mean I love Val Kilmer's Batman. We talked about this already. We don't want to get into it again, but other things though that really come to mind with McDonald's or other big things.
There was a while where they really tried to expand their value menu.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were probably working there at this time.
Yeah,
where,
when
like
stuff got crazy.
like
It's so many
rodeo,
things.
buffalo, stuff like that. Like because I love a I love a Western burger. Like I brought over burgers one time, and Tom, I was like, "What do you want on your burger?" And he's like, "Just whatever you want." And I had to tell him, I was like, I'm gonna get barbecue sauce on this burger, and he was like, "That's fine." But I mean, my perfect burger is that with like the shoestring onions, some jalapenos too.
Oh, yeah.
and then that's when I like some barbecue sauce.
See, I do like a burger that does a little bit extra. But what were some of the things on the value menu like that? Was it No, the Western cheeseburger is Hardee's, right?
No, I'm saying they did a very shitty version where I think it was like a because all their value items.
What was that?
It was like an onion ring with a little bit of McRib sauce on a burger.
That sounds like it should have been good.
It was fine. Like it was fine. But no, they like I might pull it up and you guys can talk for a while. But there was like literally like 8 items at one point on that value menu, and now there's like 3.
Right. Yeah. No. Like when I think it might have got a little bit more at my time, but they reached a point where they're just like, okay, we have too much stuff on our menu, and they went just like chopped it in half.
Wow.
Because they were doing so many things when I was there. So many different like style of things. They had the Angus burgers for a while. Which
I did like the Angus burgers.
The Angus was actually pretty good. That beef was better than their standard beef.
Yeah,
sure,
definitely.
But then they had like they had the snack wraps, all the snack wraps you could get. They had a Big Mac wrap for a little while. They had all the McCafe things, stuff getting thrown in with the smoothies, and then I think they do still the smoothies. I don't know if they still do the McCafe. I don't go to McDonald's for my fancy coffee drinks. But
I mean, I did get a coffee yesterday, and still pretty good.
I disagree.
I do 1 regular coffee, 1 cream. That's my perfect thing.
Maybe it's all my years of McDonald's, but I do not like their coffee.
I just think
just doesn't taste right.
I've had enough Starbucks coffee that it's completely like helped elevate the McDonald's coffee for me. So when I have one of those, it's very tolerable.
Wait, so like you're saying it's better than Starbucks?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Ugh.
Oh yeah,
Ugh.
I take that over Starbucks, Dunkin'. I would take that over, and maybe not Karuba. Quick Trip's its own special thing, but I definitely enjoy me a McDonald's coffee. I just love McDonald's breakfast. I got an Egg McMuffin like with the ham for the first time in a long time.
Well, the Egg McMuffins are good.
Yeah,
yes,
they're wonderful. I mean, they've done so many different menu items, and I'm really looking forward to getting into coulda, woulda, shoulda with you guys to see if we can even talk into some more things that we wish they could have done. I don't know.
I'm done looking up this value menu. I started sweating a bunch.
Yeah.
But I kind of like if a fast food place comes out with some sort of dumb bullshit, I'm going to want it.
Yeah.
Like, they brought back the Mexican pizza recently. I got my hands on one. I don't even really like a Mexican pizza that much, but I like the excitement around it.
Oh, yeah.
I like getting into the feel like this is a new item. Like the Angus burgers you guys were talking about. Like that's fun. And they were delicious.
They were good.
They were great. What is it that McDonald's has besides the McRib that is also another limited time item? Or
the Shamrock Shake.
There you go. That's what I was trying to
Do you guys like a Shamrock Shake?
That's good.
I love a Shamrock Shake.
That's another thing that was just wild. People were ready for those Shamrock Shakes.
They love Shamrock Shakes, which I'll drink one and enjoy it. But I don't know. Someone told me when I was younger, I used to love them. And then someone pointed out there was mint in it, and I didn't like it anymore.
Oh, no.
Because it's so subtle. It's subtle, for sure.
So one thing I want to ask about, especially to you, Paul, somebody who worked there. So I came onto the secret menu at some point. Mm-hmm.
There's no such thing.
Well, maybe
it's
not.
just people behind the counter doing whatever the hell they want.
But I ordered a grasshopper because I saw this online, and it's the easiest thing you'll ever think of.
Chocolate and
mint.
Yeah, people ask all the time, can you do that half and half? You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to stop the shake machine mid-shake.
Why? What's going to happen?
Like damage the machine. I don't know. That's what they always told us.
Aren't they notorious for breaking too?
Look, yeah. Now we're on the subject. That's the big question.
The vast majority of the reason why the McFlurry machine or the shake machine or the ice cream machine is broken is because they cleaned it and they don't want to clean it again for the night.
I knew it was bullshit. This is the Frost Nixon shit I wanted to get into. Was why is that ice cream machine always down when I want ice cream?
It was either we've cleaned it for the night and we don't want to have to clean it again, or I just don't feel like making that.
Wow. That's unfortunate.
That's a pain in the ass to make sometimes.
Well, it's like, why would you stop though at night? That's when people want the ice cream.
Although I will say my move in college was in the morning if I had a little bit of a hangover,
Yeah.
a vanilla cone. It would come out and, on a hot day, it would like smoke with coolness.
Yes.
When they gave it to you. Ooh, yeah, that was a treat. I just remember like me and the boys like 4 deep in my little like whatever car I had. I think it was my 90 Honda Accord with like little ice cream cones, just like driving around.
That's so funny. I feel like there are a lot of things about McDonald's. Like they do every course pretty well, like lunch, breakfast, dinner.
Lunch is the same as dinner.
Well, yes, but
Did you learn that from working there?
I did.
Did they teach you that when you became a manager?
They did.
Look, we don't like to tell people this, but lunch and dinner, it's the same stuff.
It blew my mind.
So stupid. They could do a McDonald's brunch and nobody would even be wiser. Isn't this your
But it's
breakfast
called
menu?
brunch.
Guess what? It is. But yeah, it is. It's just good that they have all these different things that go. What are some other things though, Paul, from working there that were kind of like your bugaboos or your whatevers?
My bugaboos? How you mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Just like things like the ice cream machine that were like sticking points every week that you'd run into.
What would chafe your hide?
I mean, mostly the customers.
Oh,
Be nice to the people who give you your food.
I would definitely recommend that to anybody who's at a
Right.
food establishment.
But yeah, just be nice.
Did you guys mess with the food?
Me personally, never. You might deliberately give someone the shittier piece of meat that's still in the tray, but or not prepared as good, but never like.
But no, but were people spitting in it though? That's what I want to know. I got to be sure.
I remember one time, this was when I was not manager, somebody spit in somebody's burger.
Oh, were they being a dick?
Possibly, yeah, well, yeah, and probably high.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's gross to
there's
think
a lot of high
about.
people working at McDonald's.
yeah.
Fast food in general.
It's pretty bad.
The freezer fridge makes for a good spot for those guys and gals to go back and smoke in.
Oh yeah, the restaurant I worked in, people like, yeah, you smoke weed in the freezer. For sure.
Yeah. Jimmy John's. Well, I mean, you only have to look at some of the employees, and I love the employees at Jimmy John's. Being a former employee, I love the people there, but you only have to look around and be like, night manager, he is high. Cashier,
Do they
they're
make
high.
better food then, though?
What do you think?
They probably make better food for themselves when they're hungry, but
More people are adventurous.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it when people mess with food, except for that guy at Subway who put his dong in the bread and made it look like a hot dog. That's kind of funny.
And mildly sexual harassment, I think. But so speaking of menu items that are not on the menu,
Not on the menu.
let's get into our coulda, woulda, shoulda as we've been kind of rolling up to this. What are some things that McDonald's has done over the years that you wish that maybe they would have done differently or they should have done differently, or things that
got
they
one.
could do differently?
That's not food related.
Okay.
Ronald McDonald, bad idea.
Don't
Clowns
think,
are terrifying. They could have picked a way better mascot.
really.
Yeah, he's weird. This is a really weird mascot.
This is your opinion. Huh? This
Yeah.
is the hill you're dying on.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I met him in elementary school though. It was pretty cool. They did like an assembly at my school once.
You are the star.
I did get to go on stage with Ronald McDonald, and I got to go backstage with him and go to his van. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, see, yeah, that's
No, I do remember I was on stage, and he had a team of rapping kids with them that rapped about staying in school. It was
yeah.
super 90s. And I also remember he gave me like this thing, like it was like a prop sack, and when I pulled it out, it was like one of those things where it's like completely folded up, but when you open it, it like expands and expanded into a big burger. So I had a pretty good time with Ronald, I
nice.
will say, and those rapping kids were definitely interesting.
I'm just saying, clouds are terrifying to people, especially some kids, and that's weird. I knew one guy I worked with who like was not allowed to be in the store if Ronald McDonald or whoever was playing Ronald McDonald at the time came to the store because just
Would lose it.
like panic attacky level terrifying.
Holy cow.
clowns.
Diving into the playpens.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll definitely say that came up at work recently.
Playpens, that's something like that.
Post the McDonald's branding job, where we were working on an ad, and one of the ads they wanted to do was a clown was like bothering an IT worker in this ad, and I am like, that's terrifying. Like, this clown isn't talking, he's just honking at this guy. I'm like, I think this is gonna creep some people out. So we went back to the drawing board, came up with a better idea, but I just remember reading this and I was like, I'm like,
And it themed Ronald McDonald commercial.
I was kind of thinking that. I think that would actually go
That
over
might
pretty
play,
well.
actually, yeah.
if you lean, almost surprisingly that they didn't lean into that like over like a Halloween anytime, right?
I mean, they're making that like horror movie Winnie the Pooh movie. Why not do a horror movie Ronald McDonald?
Yeah, I do like the idea of like leaning into like, yeah, we know clowns are creepy, so we're gonna do something with it.
Just lean into it.
They've done
I might
Halloween
respect
stuff.
the decision more.
Yeah, like don't you guys remember that too? When they would do like Halloween themed things where you get like Grimace in like a Dracula outfit or something like that, or you have the Hamburglar, I think, trying to dress like Frankenstein or something like that. Or Frankenstein's monster. Sorry, I always want to get that right.
Hamburger's already wearing a costume.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, they're all already wearing costumes.
Grimace is already a monster.
Grimace is perfectly himself.
I had a nightmare
Or
about
itself.
Grimace when I was not a baby, but like a young kid too, that he was just standing over my bed
Not
at
saying
night.
anything.
Yeah.
Is it like the king, the Burger King?
Yeah, it's like that, just like this big purple, but it was like dark shadow, just like standing over my bed.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like that Burger King, the king. Remember with the mask when they came out with him? It was kind of terrifying, but they kind of leaned into the fact that it was terrifying. That was better.
Yeah.
Lean into the fact that Ronald McDonald is creepy.
But I don't think you could almost do that with Ronald McDonald because he is such a like child-friendly character that he kind of needs to be like a Mr. Rogers of sorts, right?
Yeah, and there's also the, like, not to get too dark, the idea of playing with a clown being dark is also probably a little too close to John Wayne Gacy for advertising. I do see both sides, though. I am like, it would be cool to play with that, but there is probably also something really triggering to seeing, like, a clown scaring kids for, like, a fast food company.
Yeah, I just feel like you're pushing the envelope a little bit there, too. I want to talk menu items, though, of like maybe things that we haven't seen. I want to share a couple because we didn't get to really talk about this when I was bringing up worldwide before, but some items across the world maybe just spurn your imagination. Like they have a McSpicy paneer in India, and it is a crispy patty. Looks like it is like they say it's like a cheeseburger, but it looks like chicken.
Well, no, it.
It's made with paneer.
Paneer. You know what paneer is, right?
Right, it's cheese.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's
It's like a giant cheese curd on a bun.
See, they could always do
That would play in
poutine.
Wisconsin.
I will say that's something they're just missing in general at McDonald's is like a lot of good spice, like a spicy sandwich.
Yeah.
Well, they have a spicy. I had the spicy chicken.
I guess they
sandwich.
do
It
have
wasn't
that
very
now.
good. They did have the spicy chicken sandwich they had for a little while when it was on those honey wheat buns. That was good.
Or I think they just had spicy McChickens at one point.
Yeah, they
did.
On the value menu.
I remember that. Those were good, actually.
Yeah, I did like those.
We have the EB Burger, which is in Hong Kong, and that is a shrimp patty. So it's like fried shrimp, but kind of like the idea of like McFish.
I don't know how I feel about that
or
one.
fish fillet.
I do remember hearing there's like a lot of like shrimp in like the different like international McDonald's menus.
Yeah, which I guess
I do like that.
when you have all that fishing out there, it's like makes sense.
Like when you go to Moe's Market, there's so many like shrimp items that you just don't see in America. you
Yeah.
know?
I love them most. That's so good. We have the corn pies from Thailand, so kind of like the apple pies, but with corn. So it's a sweet, salty, and creamy corn filling. Interesting. I'm kind of like, it almost looks like a custard of sorts.
Do you ever get the pies?
Yeah. I'm okay on the apple pie. What I like is the pumpkin pie.
Yes.
Did you ever have the custard birthday cake?
Yeah.
Pie?
Yeah.
That was
It's a
good.
lot.
Yeah, they have some cinnamon pull apart things now
The
that
cinnamon
are
melts.
all right
They
for
had the cinnamon
being.
melts, the ones you kind of little mounds of it. They had a brownie melt for like a little while. That was really good.
Nice.
That they
Wow.
had that for like maybe a year.
We have panzerotti from Italy, So just so we're clear, I know we're in the coulda, woulda, shoulda segment, but these are all real items from across the world that we're talking about right now.
But we coulda, woulda, shoulda want to see him in America.
Yeah. So this is like, it almost looks like raviolis is what they are.
Yeah, that's what
Deep
it
fried
looks like.
ravioli.
It looks like the Tony's Pizza Rolls from here.
Yeah, a little bit. Bulgogi burger from South Korea.
that sounds good.
Is a pork patty covered in sweet, sticky bulgogi. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, that's the first one where I'm like about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I know they're not on the menu here now. I know that in England or the UK they have a Cadbury Egg McFlurry, which I'm super jealous about. We talked about the Stroopwafel McFlurry, which was on that worldwide menu, Fred. Mm-hmm. I like the idea of that. I love Stroopwafel. I'm curious how it would be in a
They
McFlurry.
only have the Oreo now. They dropped it down to just the Oreo.
Yeah, I did get a chocolate covered pretzel one like a month ago or something.
Oh, the Take 5 one?
Yeah.
Oh,
The
wow.
Take 5 one was, when that first came out, I was all about that.
Well, I just remember that is something that I would add into a coulda, woulda, shoulda when they first came with McFlurries. Remember, it was like they had like 5 choices of candy.
Yeah.
And they had like the candy cut up machines where they could just drop them in.
Yeah.
Oh, Butterfinger McFlurry is what I want.
Yeah. That Butterfinger McFlurry was so good. But we're looking at a mango McFlurry from Malaysia here.
Ooh.
God, that sounds
It's got to
tasty.
be healthy, right?
Yeah, it's got fruit in it.
Sweet, juicy mango and chocolatey Oreo bits swirled into ice cream.
Ooh.
Okay, and then I'll just share a couple more. We have like a Thai green curry chicken burger
Yes.
from Malaysia, a McVegan, which they're working on in America right now.
Is that one of those impossible ones?
Yeah, but they have it in Finland and Sweden. It's like soy patty. We have the poutine from Canada that I mentioned. Taro pie in China, which is mashed potatoes.
It sounds more like Irish.
Instead,
to me.
they have taro pie and pineapple pie. Taro is a starchy vegetable that people say the texture inside the pie is similar to mashed potatoes, except it's sweet and brightly colored. And then the big brekkie from Australia. And that's beef patty, hash brown, egg, bacon, melted cheese, and barbecue sauce, and a toasted sesame seed bun.
A wallaby burger.
And masala scrambled egg from India.
I'd fuck with that.
Yeah, plenty more. But I'll keep an eye on the menu. What are some menu items you guys would like to see? I have a very simple one, but I'll let you guys go first.
Oh, I'm just gonna harp back on fix your spicy items, or at least maybe like some sort of. I'd love like a plussed up jalapeno that they could just toss on.
Yeah.
like a candied like one, like someone's got a little sweet and spice, or just like a charred one. I want it easy for the people that work there too, like just something that's already ready to go.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm missing: spice, and yeah, I want more. I want a few more options when it comes to the ice cream based desserts.
Yeah.
Not many.
They
just a
really,
few.
they really dropped them off. I agree with that at the ice cream business because the
Even-
soft serve is good. You get a lot of things. in
There's
soft-
Sundays.
Yeah.
If they still had the nuts, I would be getting them way more
yeah.
often. But they dropped the nuts, and it's just not as
yeah, they're
good.
just-
Even the
Little packs of
shakes, you can't get strawberry. Like,
You can't
in
get
some
strawberry
places.
anymore?
In
Oh,
some
man,
places,
strawberry's
you
my
can
favorite.
at the local one.
Strawberries are my favorite. of the
Yeah.
shakes. For
I
sure.
tried the strawberry frosty though, and that was kind of
I
garbage.
think that's the kind of thing you have to remember about. And like I would say, McDonald's should be more, do some more things with their menu items, and but they're designed to be streamlined and simpler. And they've kind of figured that out in recent years because I think they got too big for their britches with the amount of stuff they were on their menus, and so people would get them, but not enough of each item, so they had to drop it down to a very condensed package.
Sure. I mean, that's like any other retail place, though, right? It's like if an item is not selling, you're not going to continue carrying it.
Right. Like, because, I mean, like, for me, I would center on, like, say, like, they had the Angus meat be 3-to-1 for burgers. So why not make that Angus and make it all the patties and make the beef better? Instead of having to put all that salt on them and taste like just pure salt.
Wasn't that kind of the idea behind the Angus burger, too? Was that they wanted to kind of switch to that beef?
At that, I don't know. But it was better beef.
You know, it's a bold move McDonald's does. No mustard. I think you can order it.
No,
but
no,
most
it
you
comes-
can.
comes mustard.
There's no
Just very minuscule.
No mayo.
Mayo.
But I feel like when I go to Burger King, I can really taste the mustard.
Yeah.
Versus like McDonald's tastes like ketchup to me.
Yeah, if you get a cheeseburger, it's really very ketchupy.
It's very, the amount, because you always have these big things where it's just a big basically funnel where you push this, and that's the mustard. That's the people can obviously see the hand motions I'm doing.
Yeah.
Looks like he's milking a cow.
But you do the
Little
same trigger pull, but the ketchup would be like 10 times as much ketchup as one pull of the mustard.
Yeah, and then like I was gonna say mayo too, but also when I think about it, the way they make their burgers, I don't think I want mayo on their burgers. I think it'd be weird.
I have a story about that. And I'll kind of segue because it has to do with international McDonald's. So I went to New Zealand years ago, and I think I was about 15, 16. And we just had like this 14-hour flight into New Zealand from LA. It's a long day because we already had the international travel, and there was some national travel from Chicago to LA. And so
You hadn't even gotten to Mordor yet.
No, man.
Did you stop at Hobbiton?
We did stop at Hobbiton.
Oh.
But I did not see any of the Hobbit houses. We literally just saw a sign.
And no hobbits?
No hobbits. That's a story for another day, though. Visit Hobbiton. So,
For the Lord of the Rings franchise episode?
yeah, well, stay tuned. that is not too far off, actually. But we don't want to spoil any future plans. But it's been in talks. So. You know, it's been 20 hours. It's been 20 hours since I was on that plane. Finally landed in New Zealand, Auckland.
Did you see them at Summerfest?
Oh, no, I missed Bare Naked Ladies. I was very sad. I think we were recording an episode, believe it or not.
Was it about the Bare Naked Ladies?
It was not.
Oh.
Next time it will be. It'll be a live episode from Summerfest grounds.
All right, you were in the Falklands.
I was in the Falklands. I was in Auckland, New Zealand.
What? Those are two different places.
It was a bit.
So got off the plane, saw McDonald's in the airport. Everybody was starving because we hadn't eaten probably legit anything but airplane food in like 14 hours. And I was starving because the only thing we had eaten probably was like cheap airplane food like 8 hours prior to that. And then we were all sleeping because it was, going through overnight. Got off the plane, everyone's starving, and I see McDonald's, and I'm like, yes. I don't give a shit that we're in a different country. They're not known for their like local fare or whatever. I just want McDonald's. So I go up, I order a cheeseburger meal. I'm like, yes, I'm going to do this. Take a bite of my cheeseburger as I'm sitting down. I'm just ready to just tear it apart. I take a big old bite, and I'm like, that's weird. I'm like, that doesn't taste like a cheeseburger. And I look, and there's just this white liquid dripping out, and I open it up, and it's just smothered in mayonnaise. And I was so disappointed because I hate mayo on a cheeseburger.
Ooh, yeah. I like mayo on a cheeseburger, but it's such a subtle art, I would say.
Did you ever eat the Big and Tasty? Do you remember the Big and Tasty?
I remember there being a Big and Tasty.
That was like the main thing about it was that it was mayo and ketchup.
Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, their burgers don't scream needs mayo to me.
No, not McDonald's cheeseburgers. And this was, by all means, looks like an American menu. They had a couple of different things, but mostly it was just cheeseburgers. Go to get some ketchup. And I'm like, okay, ketchup now. Take it from the pump. Should have grabbed a ketchup packet. And so dip my fries in there just to test it out. I'm like, that tastes weird too. It's beet ketchup. They don't have tomatoes down there very easily. That's gross. Beet ketchup and mayo is not condiments I want on my McDonald's food.
But probably would have been great.
What?
Mustard. Because mustard is universal, baby.
Yes, it is. Mustard is underrated.
I would have just taken mustard in my burger.
I love a mustard on a hot dog. That's where it's at.
That's good.
See, hot take. I like mustard sans ketchup. No ketchup.
I can get into it.
Mustard. I love mustard.
I like more mustard on my sandwich than ketchup.
One of the major things that McDonald's did for me is it made me love mustard.
See, that's a great thing to take away from it.
Yes.
Then mustard is wonderful. I love it. I had mustard on a pretzel today. That's great. What are some other things that you guys would like to see? Otherwise, I have one.
Let's hear it.
Don't hold back.
I want their sides upgraded a little bit. Let me throw you guys a couple ideas that I've had.
Okay.
Noodling around my head. I'm sure they've tried a couple of these, but I couldn't find them when I was trying to look this up. But I'll keep searching as I'm doing this. I want like the hash browns, which are like my favorite thing on the breakfast menu. But I want like sour cream and chive hash browns. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want something with some spin on it.
Wendy's is the one that does that. Not necessarily well, but yeah, McDonald's could use more of that.
Yeah.
Because the hash browns are very good.
They are excellent. I don't know why. There's just something about how they do potatoes at that place that it's just great.
I always wonder, I see at the grocery store, they sell like those frozen like blocks of like the ones that look like, I wonder if you pop those in an air fryer, if they'd be close.
Well, I don't think it's the same. I mean, that the staple is just the legitimate frying for those things. It's got to be.
Yeah, probably.
See, and then I will go a step further then and do sour cream and chive fries, because I love a good sour cream and chive fry, like at Robin, or was it Red Robin?
Red Robin.
Yeah, but I don't know that McDonald's ever tried those.
No, they never did anything crazy with the fries when I was there.
But, like, I want them to take their fry game to the next level. I know they had
They don't need to, though.
But imagine having a really well-seasoned fry with the McDonald's fries. You're, like, stepping into, like, I don't know. It's like trying to dip the fries in the ice cream. You know what I mean? I was going to say onion rings, but I think I found out earlier today they do have onion rings in some spots now, and I'm curious. So I just want to see what those are like. But, yeah, that's my big thing. And, you know, the other thing I would like to see is them bringing back another game like Monopoly. Like, I think they tried to do Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. They talked about that on the McMillions, that they were trying to do some kind of contest. But I'm like, why not try to do some other, like, pull tab fun where you have to, like, do a match thing? I don't know what it would be, but I'll throw it to you guys. We have
What game?
Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite for sure.
How would it work?
You get dropped out of an airplane, and you just gotta get together. Oh, I thought you were asking how Fortnite the game works.
Oh, no. I meant, like, how would they work at McDonald's?
I don't know.
That's just what's popular right now. That would really get the kids right.
Yeah, it's
I'm not even sure
popular.
if that's what's popular right now, honestly.
TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok.
TikTok.
True. Which would be very crazy. But
MacTalk.
I just remembered something. Do you guys remember when they did the Nintendo 64 toys, where it was like the go-kart track inside of like a domed controller?
No.
Ooh.
I mean, I remember the McDonald's that had N64s in the play place.
Okay. Like, wait, really?
Yeah.
Where was this?
I want to say the one I worked at had it. I didn't spend a lot of time in the play place because I was entirely too big for the play place. But
Whoa.
I mean, I had to go in the play place sometimes.
Yeah, I think if I had kids, I'm not letting my kid in the play place. They look diseased.
Well, only yeah. I can tell you, it does not get a lot of cleaning.
I'm not cleaning it.
And imagine, like, I mean, we didn't have a ball pit, but I can't imagine the horror story a ball pit is.
This is what I'm thinking of, though. Ooh. They had this, like, Nintendo 64 controller
Oh, but it's
toy.
just a ball thing.
But yeah, then you have like a
Yeah.
I would hate that as a kid. I want it to be an actual video.
I love this because it was like the most derivative thing from a like video game, but I still was like, that's so fun. I don't know. I'm sure that I'm just trying to think too much. I'm just nostalgic for the Monopoly. It was just so good.
You know, you could just come over one day and we'll just play some Monopoly.
But can it be McDonald's themed?
We can order McDonald's.
I'm sure there's a McDonald's themed Monopolies.
There's gotta be Burger Boulevard.
Stay tuned for the episode sequel. We'll be doing McDonald's and Monopoly all together in one episode.
We're just
It'll be
gonna
enthralling.
do a live
Playing
recording of a Monopoly game.
But no video.
Yeah, no video, just
exactly.
audio.
Anything else you guys want to share just in general? Or are we
About the coulda, woulda, shoulda.
or anything? Because I think we might be ready for our power rankings.
I'm ready.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Our power rankings this week, as we've been kind of talking about for a little bit, but what are your favorite McDonald's menu items of all time? So ones that may have even been discontinued. We've mentioned a lot, so we got to narrow it down.
Well, I'll go first.
Yeah.
I'll kick it off. For all time, and two of these items you can still get. It's just they're not in the way that I used to get them, which is the number 3 is the Crispy Chicken Deluxe, which I mentioned was just like a basic, nice, zesty chicken sandwich, crispy, delicious.
Just chicken, mayo, lettuce, and tomato.
Yeah. My number 2 item is fries. I just love the fries. And my number 1 is the McChicken a la 2008.
Yes.
Like 2008 to
Yes.
2015. That was my time. And those are my top 3 of all time.
That's great. Paul, you want to go next?
Do these have to be like menu items, or just the things that make me most nostalgic about my time?
You pick whatever is
Right.
calling to you.
Okay.
Treat it like the title of our podcast.
Yes. Let's see. They don't have it anymore, but the hot mustard sauce, I would destroy that hot mustard sauce. And I miss that hot mustard sauce. My second favorite thing to make was, I called it bug juice. You do half Mellow Yellow, half Blue Powerade. Best drink on the menu.
Whoa.
I gotta try that.
That does sound good.
Yeah, it's really good. And number 3, honestly, for me, it's that strawberry shake.
Ooh,
Can't get enough of that
shake.
strawberry shake. I mean, you got all the menu items, but eventually, I mean, me working at McDonald's, you just get bored
Yeah.
with all the food. So it's just like, what did I have? It's just what I remember the most fondly.
Sure.
What the flavors I remember, because honestly, the flavor of most of the food is just like,
And what's nice about the shake, though, is it's not an extra thick shake,
No.
which I don't know who got in their mind that we all love thick shakes. I'm like, no, I'll just eat ice cream.
Right.
Give me a thin shake that I'm going to drink in 2 minutes and have a stomach ache.
Yeah.
And that's what McDonald's does.
remember when they this thing you remember now, obviously, like the sizes have gotten smaller. The regular is way smaller. You used to be able to buy a
Everything's
32-ounce shake.
Yeah, and that's
Everything's
like the biggie size or
Yeah,
whatever.
What used to be the super size.
The super, yeah, that's, I think I told on this podcast, my friends and I go in there and just all getting for $5, you could get like this massive shake. And I was like, when the person working there was like, what are y'all gonna do with all that shake? What are you gonna do with that shake?
You remember when they had, do you remember for a little while, I don't think you still have it, where they had the sweet tea for a while?
Oh,
That came with a 44-ounce cup.
Ooh, well, I lived in the South, so they had sweet tea all the way up the whole time.
Yeah. Now, the McDonald's sweet tea was not up to par. We had numerous people come through from the South and be like, that's not sweet tea. But that cup, you could make a 44-ounce shake.
Oh my gosh.
That's too much.
It wasn't on menu, but you could make
too
it.
much. Just drinking like a 40-sized beer with his milkshake. It's like the stuff you used to get at Debevic's. Or I guess you still can if you go to the Chicagoland area. Not in Milwaukee anymore, though. Those are good picks. I will say, go with another shake to start mine, the Shamrock Shake. I'm a big fan. I can't get over it. I love that Shamrock Shake.
It's good.
It's good. I just like the mint. I don't know what it is. Number 2, I think I'm going to have to go back to the Quarter Pounder. I was always a 2 cheeseburger guy for a while. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll try the Angus burger. Maybe I'll try this. But, man, I'm just remembering the nostalgia for that Quarter Pounder and how good that was. That was just like the right size and just the right amount of food for me. And number 1, I'm going to kind of go off because this isn't necessarily a menu item I had a lot, but I wanted to talk about this. So back in the 80s and most of the 90s, and I remember getting this at least one time because I liked the idea of it, called the McDLT.
Oh, I knew this was
You might have heard about this item, but basically it was nothing special other than it was a cheeseburger that was separated into a styrofoam container that had 2 compartments. One had one bun with the lettuce and the tomato and the cheese. The other half just had the burger meat and another half of the bun. And so you would assemble it yourself. And I remember getting this one time because I was like, oh, this could be great. Until I realized when I was a kid, and I was much pickier then, that I didn't like lettuce on my burger. So here I'm like, oh, okay, I can just pick this off then, which I thought was novel. I was like, it's much easier to assemble then. But McDLT didn't last because I don't think a lot of people. I think the container was way too expensive and way too wasteful with all the styrofoam that was involved. But also, just I don't think anybody wanted to put it together themselves, right? But this was so good because the commercials in the 80s had a pre-Seinfeld Jason Alexander, who we just talked about in our previous episode on Curb Your Enthusiasm, or that was 2 episodes ago at this point, but did all the commercial. So I'm going to show that to the guys now, and you guys get to hear a little treat of him singing about the McDLT.
Hey, you say you're getting tired of lettuce and tomato hamburgers in this town that don't quite make it? Yeah! You say that just once you'd like your hamburger hot and your lettuce and tomato cool and crisp all at the same time? Yeah! Well, I say you got it. I'm talking McDonald's new lettuce and tomato hamburger, the McDLT. I'm talking quarter pound of beef on the hot side.
And the hot stays hot.
The new McDLT.
Hot, hot.
Crisp lettuce and tomato on the cool side.
And the cool stays cool.
The new McDLT.
Wow.
Maybe I picked that just so I could share the ad, but
I think you did.
maybe a
You
little
didn't
bit.
actually like the burger.
Did you guys actually know that Jason Alexander was found as a Broadway actor before he became a TV actor?
I believe it.
Yeah. That's why they got him for that commercial, because he was a skilled dancer and singer.
I believe that you just picked it because you want to talk about it. Because I was like thinking about this burger and I'm like looking at it. I'm like, doesn't look like anything
doesn't look that
special. And this ain't fucking IKEA. I don't want to have to like take home the
exactly.
parts
You
and
go
put
to
it
Mc-
together.
You go to McDonald's because you open up the wrapper and you can eat it.
Also, I don't do lettuce or tomato on sandwiches from restaurants. I'm weird, especially shredded lettuce. I don't mess with at all. I don't like it on my sandwich unless I put it on.
Well,
Yeah.
guys, you don't have to get the McDLT, because if you have to remember,
It doesn't exist anymore.
what you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Ba, 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 ba.
Should have done top 3 taglines. I messed up. So I think that gets us to the end of our episode here. But before we go, maybe have our plugs segment come through here. Paul, anything you would like to share or plug for?
No.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying. Fred, anything you would like to plug coming up here?
No. I'm taking time off. I'm getting married. My dates are pushed back right now.
That's right. As this episode comes out, you will be 1 week from your wedding.
It'll be 1 week.
Chicken in China, the Chinese chicken. Yeah, so good luck with your nuptials, Fred. We'll be happy to catch up with you after that's over. And as for me, the only thing I want to share is our podcast plugs. Please rate and review this podcast. Please give us 5 stars, write a lovely review for us, and tell your friends. It really helps us out. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. It should be on there. We're definitely doing a lot there. We have a Buy Me a Coffee. It's very similar to a Patreon. I don't know if we've explained this, but we are planning some exclusive content. You can do a one-off donation of any amount that you want. We're just looking for a drink, just a little extra donation we can put back into the show. Or if you want to buy a subscription, you can also do that too. Anything counts. You know, it can just be a repeat fee of whatever you want to pay. It could be a penny. I don't care. But ultimately, we're most, happy that you are listening to this show. We really appreciate your listenership. Paul, we really appreciate you coming on the podcast today to share your McDonald's history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hopefully McDonald's won't be coming knocking with all the juicy tidbits.
I could have revealed more, I'm sure.
You can tell us off the air, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
And thank you all for listening again. And stay tuned for next time when we will be discussing fantasy football. Yes.
That's a franchise?
That is a franchise.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe we'll be talking about one specific person's fantasy football. Maybe Yahoo, maybe ESPN. We'll see who actually gives us sponsorship. I don't know.
No.
We'll find out.
I'll bring the fantasy. You bring the football.
And we'll make magic happen. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.